3, 2, 1. Hey, yo, DJ, turn that up. DJ Eru. Woo! Yo, what up, Sheila? We got Sheila over here. Dog, say hello. What's up? What you got to say about Black White Zombies being the best version of zombies? Love you. Yeah, I love you. What up? All right, enough of that. Magic time. So, for me, it is, we're headed down to Richmond tomorrow, 8 days until the Pro Tour. Looking very likely that I play Black White Zombies. It's an open secret. People are writing about it in Star City. It's 5-0ing a bunch of leagues. I have some responsibility for it, but I also I started by net decking a version and then got beat by a version and then started combining versions. My team has this. My pro team, Lingering Souls, has this. People in the mastermind have it. And unfortunately, East West Bowl has it as well, as I've been staying with Ben Friedman this entire time. Ben is coach in the mastermind. And, you know, there's pros and cons. Like, definitely benefits me to be here, and we worked on it together. But it is a little bit awkward for that. But, like, sometimes that happens. But when we get on Monday, it'll be locked down to the 6 of us, I suppose. Narrow it in, so that should be good. Anyways, why Black White Zombies? Well, I won 9 straight rounds with Mono Black, and then my 10th loss was to Black White Zombies, and I felt like the white actually added a lot. Started thinking about it again. Previously, I didn't like the Black White version, but I didn't like that version. The problem wasn't the white cards. So I made a new Black White version, and the first thing that we get, you've seen the deck tech on the Mono Black version, is we get, and you'll get to see the process. I'll post, you'll probably already know what I played at the Pro Tour, the list I played. But the white zombies, Servant, and Binding Mummy. Binding Mummy has really impressed me, this card. There's a lot of blocking going on in Standard. The only deck that doesn't want to block is Control. So we're downgrading one card versus Control here. But versus other decks, it's crazy. They just can't expect to block ever, so it makes it way easier to Alpha Strike them and erase them. And they're good in multiples, so 4. Wayward Servant also impressed me. When it enters, you drain them, and you can make a lot of zombies. If you have Diagraph, it's not hard to make 4 zombies. Dark Salvation, Liliana's Mastery, drain for a bunch and tap down. The life is nice at letting you race, so I feel like this gives you a big edge in the mirror. Metallic Mimic, to me, I don't like it very much. I like the second toughness on both these guys, because once you have these in a Lord, you're pretty immune to Kozilek's Return and Flaying Tendrils, at least the front side. And we don't really care about Liliana that much anymore. Having your Mimic Liliana is super bad, so these are some upgrades. I do miss Relentless Dead. That card is quite good, especially against Control, but I think these are generally more powerful. Relentless Dead is really only better versus Control. I missed Westvale Abbey a little bit, but not as much as I like the white cards. And then the other addition to white, and by the way, we're going to walk you through a 4-1 league, almost very, very nearly 5-0 again today. Getting Gideon is really nice. Some people are like, well, how do you even cast that with 13 sources? I think it's enough. Sometimes it won't be enough, but this card is so fucked up powerful versus Control. I don't care. I want to play 4. Gideon got me to the Pro Tour. It's going to keep me on the Pro Tour. And then the white exile effects, which I'm playing 4 of, very, very good, especially against Marvel. So it's like, we want Transgress, or do we want Lay Bare the Heart? Do we want Dispossess? Do we want a Lost Legacy? I would rather just have Anguished and Cast Out. I want them to, they have Marvel. If they hit Ulamog, I'm exiling that. If they brick, I'm exiling the Marvel. That's, to me, is a great plan. It's already executed, as you'll see. And these are also pretty great. In general, I like them against Mardu. I like it more than Grasp of Darkness by a lot. It has a secondary removal spell to bring in against Thing in the Ice, Gisela, Kalita, stuff like that. So That's the deck, and let's jump into the queue here. So you can see I went 4-0 and then lost a very close one. I'd like to be 5-0, but whatever. You can't win 100%. 90%, 80% is pretty good. So it's my first league with this. I 3-2'd my first league, then I 5-0'd my second league, and then I 1-1'd. I dropped after I lost to Black-White and jumped in. So overall with zombies, 3 wins, plus 5 wins is 8, 9 wins. I've got 13 wins, and 2, 3, 13 wins and 4 losses. Pretty decent start. So jump through some games here. Here's a hand. I'm fine with keeping this on the play. You don't need a 1 or 2 drop if the rest of your cards are good. Although, the wind's picking up, let's move in. Although you could mulligan this. This is a borderline mulligan. So I got my Crypt Breaker. I decided not to play Crypt Breaker so that I could combo it with Diagraph Colossus to make extra dudes on the 4th turn. So see how that works out for us. Pretty well. I mean, he does have Harnessed. I think he fucked up by not firing this off earlier or leaving. Yeah, it's just something didn't go quite right for them. But we've got all this stuff going. I'm not sure what we're playing against. It should have been obvious it was Jeskai, but Control. I didn't figure it out. I thought maybe we're playing against. Come on, Magic Online. What's up? So, also another thing I like to do with the deck is whenever possible, draw an extra card instead of attacking. Because you never know when they have a sweeper and you just want the extra card. Me personally, I'm just a sucker for drawing cards. At this point, smash the Lord of the Accursed, and let's just swing for the kill. They have an Immolating Glare and they still die, so yeah, yeah, they're definitely control at this point. They got a little bit screwed because of Hub, but that's an issue with the deck. So I think I might have boarded like they might have been a Marvel deck. I kind of hedged in between. I only boarded in 1 Gideon. Look at this hand. I side in my Scroungers, side out my 2-drop mummies in these matchups because yeah, I boarded correctly, like it was control. I don't want, although I think I only boarded 1 Gideon. I don't want a bunch of those 2-drop zombies because I don't want to rely on synergy post-board. I just want to kill them dead. Yo. What up? Sheila wants to come in over here. Sheila, come in. And we'll go back out. So pretty nice aggressive draw. And at this point, Fire Off transgresses. I make a misplay by accidentally not playing my land post-combat. That's a pretty common mistake that people make, that I make. So I transgressed a couple times. The first one, he cycled Cast Out, and I took Avacyn, and then the second one is a brick. So something that's interesting is Lay Bare the Heart is better versus Control because you can take their pull from Eternity, and you can take their negate. Wind's picking up again. I'll just stand. Opponent just scoops the match. Like they have time to pull, but I don't know. I just don't think this is a good deck because if you don't have your sweeper, you have the wrong answer. You have negate versus when this is already in play, and then you have to worry about all these recurring threats. It's just too hard to build control to consistently win for me to really recommend it. So let's jump in. Not the most varied experience today. Just played only against control and Marvel. So we'll see how that goes. Here we've got the turn 2 Binding Mummy. This is kind of a nut draw if they don't have a sweep. Like, you're just going to attack and they're not going to block and your creatures are going to be huge. So he pushed my Binding Mummy, and I chose to draw a card here because a little bit floody. And then there's a Marvel. And here's something interesting. He has 5 energy, so if I kill the Servant, he gets to 6 energy and can Marvel. So I say, you know what, let's not kill the Servant. Let's make some extra stuff. And I decided to start doing damage because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It looks like we're within reach of a kill. Okay. So, and then I kept him on 5. I Dark Salvation, but I did not make a creature. You don't have to make a creature. So hit him to 4 and draw an extra card. They marvel. Even if it's Ulamog at this point, they can Ulamog. They probably win, but not necessarily. So, in order for Marvel to beat you, it's possible. I mean, they can nut draw. Here's a pretty interesting hand I decided to keep. If you can see this, only a 1-lander, and I got punished. I keep this again later, and it works out okay. But yeah, I mean, this is also, if I was not white, this wouldn't be as big a problem because I would be casting Relentless Deads and Mimics. It'd be like casting a bunch of Mimics, and I might be able to win through that Liliana by just having a big team, but as it plays out, I'm just stuck on 2, and that's, one is a cost of playing white, but also is a cost of keeping that hand. I don't want to go back and not play white. I want to just probably pitch that hand, although again, I kept it another time and it worked out great. Back in for game 3 here. We've got the Dread Wanderer Crypt Breaker. Usually want to start with Crypt Breaker so that I can do more damage. Here, hit my land. You can see I chose not to cycle Cast Out and draw a card because I just really want to have access to that to take out Marvel this game. So I could play Salvation to start drawing cards, but I figure I'll just keep up Cast Out, and then that's what happened. He has Marvel, but doesn't have 6 energy immediately. It's a problem with the Sultai version of this deck, is it just doesn't have enough energy. The blue adds a lot of energy, so just kill your shit and push. And again, at this point, it's like even if you have 6 energy in Marvel, it's over. So move on, advance to 2-0. Jump into round 3 here. 3 more matches to show y'all. A lot of people ask for this MTGO content. I mean, I just don't play that much, and I don't want to play that much anymore. Yeah, I'll keep this. But before a big tournament, I will, and I'll go out of my way to record for you. So turn 2, Wanderer, turn 2, Servant. Decent start, turn 3, Diregraph, Drain You. Opponent has Magma Spray, and they go for a Wanderer, which is interesting. I guess they think in the long game it's more important to exile this, although this one's going to drain them out. I'm kind of fucked if they have a sweeper here, but most of them are only playing max 1 to 2 sweepers game 1. And you play in control, it's hard to play more than that anyways because they're pretty rough in the mirror and stuff like that. And even against Marvel, you don't really want it. So they died super quick. Didn't have the sweep and couldn't really come back. Well, here's an interesting draw. Got the turn 1 Dread Wanderer again. And then there's a thing in the ice. So I lost this because I sideboarded wrong. I left in my Dark Salvations and did not bring in Anguished Unmaking. I transgressed them. There, that was also probably wrong. I should have got more pressure going. Yeah, I didn't bring in, although, you know, maybe I never had a window to do this, because I know they have Negate in hand. Yeah. And they flip their thing. This would be the turn to untap and Anguish it, but I have Dark Salvations, but I don't, and I lose, and I fix that for the next game. Sometimes, like most of the time when you lose, there's something you could have done better. In that game, I sideboarded wrong. So this game, actually, let's replay this. Pretty interesting. This is a really interesting game, and this will show you a lot about being white. So, opening hand. Okay, check out this hand on the play. Oh, come on, Magic Online. It's so hard to do here. It looks like the next play button isn't working. Okay, here we go. 3 Swamps, 2 Lords, Liliana's Mastery, Gideon. I figure I want faster, I want to be able to cast my Gideon. I want some disruption. I'm going to pitch it. Some people would keep there, or some people would say that's why not to play white. But this time I kept, and the top card is Gideon. So I'm like, this is a lot better. I'm going to keep Gideon because it's a one-man chance to win. Lead with Crypt Breaker because maybe that was even, yeah, I figure maybe that was even wrong, but I decided let's start off with Crypt Breaker. I guess if I had transgressed, it would have worked out a little better because, nah, it's about the same. decide to anguish the fuck out of that while I can, so I fixed my sideboarding and it's very relevant immediately. Here's an interesting play. So first of all, I could smash Gideon and he might negate it, and then it would be hard to win. I could fire off 2 transgresses, and he might negate one, is my thinking. Um, and then I could play Gideon the next turn. So that's why I do that. That's probably right, but the way it turns out is interesting. So I transgress. He's got 2 glimmers and a hulk and a harnessed and the 4th land. I figure I'm going to take the glimmers and then try to like win through and under the hulk. So I take both of those. Next turn, I draw my Gideon. So I draw Dark Salvation. I think I had like 2 Anguish, 1 Cast Out, 1 Dark Salvation, something like that. So I had to keep, if I wanted a 4th removal spell, it would be this one. Obviously, it's really not as good. Now here's very interesting. Is like, what do I do? Attack for 5? Do I attack with Shambling Vents? I decide this. Do I play this? Make 2 zombies? I figure, let's push in. And then here's another interesting turn. I can make a 2/2, another 2/2. I can start attacking. I can push for events. I can attack and then post-combat Dark Salvation that. I decide I don't want a Dark Salvation because I feel like there's a good chance they haven't drawn. I mean, they've drawn 2 non-lands. There's a good chance one of the cards they've drawn is negate. So I figure I'm just going to start pushing for damage. I think it would almost even be reasonable to... Yeah, I decided to even make another knight here to go wider because I'm not seeing sweeps. And I feel like we'll probably be able to take down the thing. And there's Hulk to worry about. And if the opponent doesn't burn, I do want to have Gideon left. But maybe I should have smashed with Gideon there. Magic's kind of hard. So they missed their land again. And I know it means like they've got stuff in hand. They've got a Hulk and 3 unknown cards. Negate's probably in there. I want to just not cast anything if possible, because then it increases the odds that thing flips. So I attack, and he blocks, and I ship. And then here's a really interesting play they made where they Incendiary Flow us to knock Gideon down, but they don't have a follow-up to that. And I don't know what that means. I guess they're going to try to Wandering Fumarole it next turn, potentially. My thought again is we know they have 1 Hulk and 1 last card, and it can't be a burn spell or it would have been played. It can't be a land or it would have been played. It has to be a 2nd Hulk or a counter spell or a pull from Eternity. It just can't be anything else. Even a pull probably would have got played. So I feel like playing Dark Salvation is a good way to lose my thing in the ice. And Lord of the Curse is a lot safer because it probably will not get removed. And this is risky. Like if it's a burn spell, then this is backfiring. Yeah. I think I should. Yeah. But I just had to read like, and it was correct. So they hit their 6th land. They have 2 cards. They have a Hulk and probably a counterspell. And now's the turn to wake up Gideon, attack with all. Hulk's got to block Gideon, and Thing's got to block something to not die. They F6, they fuck up and lose here, but now's the time that we can Dark Salvation the Thing in the ice and have 2 dudes and they're at 2 life and Shambling Vit and we win. So even if they didn't make this misclick, we're still winning. So at this point, wait, that was round 3. Going to round 4, 3-0. What up? Okay, this is a great hand. Start off by drawing a push. I like that. There's a Puzzle Knot. Got a Wayward Zombie down. Bash. They harness my dude. Throw down a Lord of the Accursed. Push again. They have a Servant. They don't have Marvel, I know, otherwise it would have been played. I'm going to Wayward Servant, and I'm going to make a zombie. So here's a really interesting decision point where we could either pitch the land or pitch the push. I talked with Ben, decides we should probably pitch the push, because there's a good chance we draw a 5-drop here, and we do, so it was a good play. Go ahead and kill that thing and drain, and now choose not to attack and draw 2 cards and go for massive overkill next turn. Although it's at a point where even if they Marvel into Ulamog, this turn probably would have been on time, but next turn it's like, now it's too late, so play the Mastery and they scoop. issue with Marvel. Like, they really have to draw Marvel. Although a sweeper could have won them that game. Oh, they're playing Servant instead. I don't think Servant is great. Oh, let's go back and look at this hand. I decided to keep a risky one again. Look at the 7 here. Terrible lighting behind me, huh? This is better. I decided to keep this one. This one to me is better because it's a black-white land, and we have a Cyclor, and we have Anguished, which gives us a way to exile Marvel. So I lead and go with the Wanderer. I do top deck the Swamp. A little bit lucky, whatever. Turn 3, there's a Rogue Refiner, a Binding Mummy, and dig for a land. Miss on the land. They don't have Marvel again, but they have some Disruption. Even if they have Marvel, though, we could potentially Anguished it. I figure I'm not going to transgress here because why? They don't have Marvel. They might have drawn it with their... Nah, they just don't have Marvel. So I cycle the cast out because we do need to hit lands, and we also have Anguished. So they're pushing for damage. Here's where it gets kind of interesting. Like this turn, we could Dark Salvation. We could... Ben's suggestion was Salvation as a 1-mana removal and then Transgress. I figure I want to get more traction on board, and the Transgress is just not mattering because there's no Marvel in hand. It might have been drawn off this one Rogue Refiner, but it's more likely that we bleed to death. So it's more important to get stuff out. So opponent goes Barals. Into Chandra. Perhaps I should have Transgressed because that's pretty brutal here with a lot coming down. I decide, let's refill the board. I'm still not going to Transgress, not yet relevant. And they Chandra, and they decide to cast it, which is a dead giveaway that they're holding Ulamog, otherwise they would have gone to the face. I'm also off-paying life at this point because they can do 2, +3, +3 is 6. I don't want to die, I want to be able to cast my Anguish this game. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, they're a waste from Marveling, so we don't need to do it. We can just smash. Kill your Chandra, attack you. They've got a bunch of life. Servant. Even if 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. At this point, even if they draw a land, 2 Ulamog, they're still dying. So I decide just to push, and they concede. So, I mean, you don't draw Marvel, you don't have a deck. You do have 4, but you know, I played it at Utrecht. I think Utrecht, however the fuck you pronounce it. I think it's fine. I just don't want to do it again. So here's a hand. Maybe this is supposed to be a mulligan. I kept because I'm greedy, and I mean, yeah, this is a bad draw. I should have mulliganed. Get punished to the utmost extent this game. Although Cryptbreaker, if it doesn't get removed, can get you out of cards like this. So my first draw is the 6th land. He can't remove it. My second draw is the 7th land. Doesn't remove it. I make a dude. And then my next draw is the 8th land, so I have 8 lands, 2 spells. Although, I mean, Cryptbreaker is the best card to have in this situation. He's vomiting stuff on the board, but there goes my Cryptbreaker. Wasn't able to draw, and trades. Still no Marvel, so I have a chance. Go Liliana's Mastery and push. But he has the Marvel. If it was even one turn, I think we might have been able to win this. One turn later. But as is, decided to like go for it, jam out. And there's a Bristling Hydra, which is interesting. Eats our dude, misses Renewal. Too much life, too much energy. We need to draw some more Haymaker Bombs, Masteries, and Dark Salvations, and not able to do it. And they're just gaining so much life, so much energy. I even have to pass here, and at this point, like, it's over. So, I mean, this game was snowballed out of control, but there was a point where it was close. Probably could have 5-0'd if I had mulliganed that. Okay, this hand. This is a keeper. Turn 2 Mummy and smash some lords. I like this sort of hand because we don't need to worry about Kozilek's return either. Right. So he's got Whirler. I tap his shit. He plays another Whirler, missed his land, and I kill his thing, make zombies. Tap his dude, and he misses his land, and that's just it. So, game. This deck's unforgiving. You have to have Marvel. You have to have the mana to Marvel, and Marvel needs to not get removed. Okay, game 3. And I decided to keep this. 3 salvations is a lot, but it's a good way to grind through the Rogue Refiners and Whirlwind Makers. And we could discard 1 to Crypt Breaker if it's not good. So they have a turn 3 Marvel, which is pretty scary here. We're getting some value, but really need to remove the Marvel. When it's this early and we have no pressure, like, we need to remove it, we need them to brick with it. We need to transgress it. Although, it's not normal to have it that early, but I mean, you play against something like 6 times, 5 times, it should beat you once. So, still not over, like, digging, dig, drawing a bunch of cards. There's Ulamog, though, and it's not 100% over because we can double Dark Salvation it, but there's just so much going wrong here. Like, the Marvel still has energy, and they've got 5 cards in hand, and they can Niss's Renewal, which they do, and now they can cast shit from their hand. I don't have the mana to play Transgress and Salvation. I can't kill the Ulamog, but they can Marvel again. And they've got the Ulamog from hand too, so GG's. So finish with a 4-1, close to a 5-0. With this, although I think it's like 1 card different. I added another Plains, and I think I only had 1 of these. No, I had all of them. But the deck's fucking busted, obviously. Again, Wizards does their job. The new deck is the best deck and sells the sets. So they've done it, and I can't really recommend anything else. We'll see after the Pro Tour. I mean, I'm sure you can like make your deck better versus zombies and hate zombies in some ways, but there's a lot of known losing strategies versus zombies, which is most of the existing decks. So we're gonna have to. The other decks are gonna have to evolve, adapt, or die. Other decks are gonna have to figure out how to really beat zombies. I think one of the ways with Marvel to do it more consistently is to play Kozilek's Returns and World Breakers. Even Kozilek's Return front side can be a brick, but the back side is a way to come back from anything, so that's the way to do it. Maybe Blue-Red Emerge. It's something I haven't tested or played against yet. You can main the 4 Kozilek's Returns and EDFs, and you can also come back from anything, so that would be my recommendation if you don't want to play zombies. I mean, Control, you play a bunch of Sweltering Suns, Radiant Flames, and you just feel bad. Maybe Mardu, you can play Radiant Flames, but, I mean, if there's a Lord and a Mastery, then you're fucking dead. But you have to play your Fumigates, that's for sure. So that's the deck. Let me know if you enjoy this kind of content. It's just super technical, and I'll have plenty more coming. So, much love, and see you in the comments. And thumbs up for Sheila. Peace. Much love. Take care.